Trey Taylor is a singer, a composer, a philanthropist, and he's a public speaker. Now he's looking towards the future as he grows with his country and contemporary music. I talk one-on-one with Trey for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Trey Taylor, welcome to the award-winning Quintin's Close-Ups.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. Or be there, be somewhere, I guess, in the Zoom world.
Yes, indeed. Thank God. Exactly right. I know that obviously you're a singer, composer, public speaker, a philanthropist, a multi-instrumentalist, and I know you play over 9 instruments, and you are a true entrepreneur in the entertainment world. What instrument describes you these days, Trey?
Well, anyone I can play on stage live in front of people, I guess. Honestly, I've been really focusing on guitar as I've been ready to get back on the road and kind of have to dust myself off. But, you know, anything that plays and anything that I can make sound just adequately decent, I guess.
What sounds good to you musically these days?
Oh, I would have to say, you know, I'm actually an old school guy. I listen to a lot of Motown. I listen to a lot of traditional country music, but I also love brand new artists like Casey Musgraves and Ed Sheeran. I just love everything. You wouldn't believe my Spotify top 10 right now.
And what exactly else is on that list?
Oh, everything from Hall & Oates to yodeling Patsy Cline. I mean,
wow.
So I just try to keep it. One of the things that I think I learned to do when I was little was to really respect all kinds of music. You know, I've got family members who are in the rap game, and then I've got family members who kind of Appalachian people who use the washboard and the spoons. So it's the best of both worlds.
Oh, I bet it is. And I know, speaking of which, you were born in Colorado to a single mom, and you had an instant attraction to music and sang word by word to the Disney sing-along songs by the age of 3 and by the age of 4. And I know that your uncle saw enough potential to bring you to Hollywood in the summer of 2003 to audition in front of the executives of Walt Disney Creative Enterprises. When did you see the potential in music?
You know, I really didn't see it as much as everybody else did. I think they just could never shut me up. and so they just wanted a way, maybe we could get him to make some money off of this thing. But really, I think when I saw my own potential, I think it was the first time I ever played on stage. And as soon as I heard this, I thought, all right, I'm sold. This is going to be what I do for a little while. So it's just, I'm just very blessed to even be able to do it. So, but that was, I guess, the moment for me when I realized, all right, I think I found what I want to do.
Wow. And since from 2003 to right now, what is the biggest difference about music?
Oh, you mean right now? Well, I think what's happened in music now is because thanks to the internet and thanks to so many independent platforms, it's really opened up this age for independent performers, folks who, it's amazing. I know friends of mine who can cut full albums in their basement with their Mac computers. So that's something that wasn't accessible to artists in the past before. So it actually makes things a lot more competitive, which I think makes this work a lot harder. In the music business, but particularly in country music, the biggest difference, I think, is a genre shift into more mainstream country music. And what I tend to focus on is the traditional stuff, but I do have a lot of fun in dusting off some of that stuff and making it sound real new. So, or writing a song that sounds like a throwback. So that's always real fun.
Absolutely. And how do you stay competitive?
Well, I get up and put chains on and put all my shiny clothes on. No, no, really, I think one of the things that it really keeps you competitive is really staying ahead of your game, but not just vocally or guitar-wise, but making sure that you've got your finger on the pulse in the business. And, you know, I'm 22 years old, and one of the things that I always look at is to make sure that especially when I'm performing and things like that, that I read my audience and you never just phone it in. You truly just look at every single face and, figure out a place to take the show to make sure that everybody leaves having a good time.
Yes, indeed. And who is your audience these days?
Oh, who are my artists? Such a wide variety of folks. I've been listening to a lot of Lionel Richie. I've been listening to a lot of Glenn Campbell. Glenn Campbell, the late country music singer, he was my absolute hero. And yesterday was his 85th birthday.
Right.
So I took a 7-mile walk yesterday, just bebopping to Glenn Campbell songs. So, I mean, that sort of stuff is just timeless to me.
Yes, indeed. And when you read your audience, who is your audience?
Well, I'm a young black kid from East Denver who plays country music. So I think I've got a wide audience of people that I can play to. I've always wanted that. I never wanted to be pigeonholed into one thing that I do. I wanted everybody to enjoy what I do. And that's why I've worked real hard to, even the songs I choose, I want to find songs that are very, apply to everybody, that just talk about love and life and that sort of thing. Not necessarily getting incredibly specific in my messaging, but something that everybody could enjoy. But I think my audience are folks who don't mind looking at shiny things on stage, hearing a banjo, but also hearing R&B music too. I'm loving getting to do some R&B on my next record.
Wow. I love the 90s R&B, so that's amazing. What is your message when it comes to music?
My message is always, my artist message is I often think to myself, it's not important that my audience leaves saying, you know what, that was the best singing I've ever heard or the best guitar playing I've ever heard. I just want them to say, we've had a great time tonight. Yes. So I think my message is just positivity and try a little kindness and, community and love and faith and all those things. It really makes us who we are. And we have so many more things in common than we do differently.
And I know, as you mentioned, you're the youngest African-American in country music history. And I know the Denver Post wrote, quote, "It's impossible to miss his enthusiasm." What's your enthusiasm for music?
Well, because I'm a music fan first. I grew up a music fan more than I ever did a performer. I really didn't want to sing and didn't want to perform until I realized, wow, it made the girls in school pay attention to me. So I thought I could live with this. But I think that as a performer, what I want to do is preserve the music and celebrate the artists that changed my life, but also be an artist that has that very same impact on young people my age, and even people older.
Yes, indeed. How do you approach music as a musical fan, and how do you approach music as a performer?
It's difficult a lot of times because when I find a song that I love hearing, I want to record it. So it's very much an addiction of mine. So my poor producer and my staff, they're always going, "Trey, look, we know you," because when I listen to a song and get obsessed about it, I listen to it 3 or 4 times a day. I learn it on the guitar and I start putting it in the show, and they all get nervous. They're like, "Trey, look, you're not a jukebox Johnny, man. You can't be doing that." So I think that a lot of times you have to separate and make a lot of concessions in your show to what your audience will enjoy, to what you enjoy. And sometimes entertainers do have to take 2 or 3 songs out of the show and say, "I don't care. I love this song and I'm playing it anyway."
Right, exactly right. And who is Trey Taylor on the guitar?
Oh, Trey Taylor is, if Glenn Campbell and Roy Clark had a baby, then that'd be that'd be who Trey Taylor is on the guitar. No, that'd be no. I only wish that would be my dream. But really, on the guitar, I've actually not had a lesson, and sometimes I always tell people and it shows. But really, who I am on the guitar is somebody who is a impassioned guitarist. I only sing because it helps the guitar playing on stage. So I've always joked, but my influences on the guitar have been very consistent since I started. So I've always had a real consistent style of playing.
Yes, indeed. And I know that obviously the audience embraced your singular style wholeheartedly, a warm reception that helps guide your charming and charismatic force of nature on your creative path. How did you actually create that path?
Well, as soon as I realized that this was something that I wanted to do, and for a young person, especially in my formative years, I was in middle school, right, in high school when most of this happened. I really had to take the big risk in going out and deciding I wanted to become a professional musician at all costs. There was no plan B for me. And that tends to be how most of the artists who succeed. I haven't succeeded quite yet until I win a Grammy or something like that. But until then, I've got my 8 Grammys, grandmothers who are proud of me. So I've got 8 Grammys. So, but no, I think that when I put together kind of who I wanted to be as a performer, I wanted people to just see my heart and my soul and realize I really consider entertainers to be people who provide service, not audiences servicing them. So even the stage clothes and all the tacky things that I wear, it's really for the audience to show them that, hey, I care enough to put a lot of effort into making sure that if y'all came to see an entertainer, that you're looking at an entertainer.
And speaking of which, let me talk to you about service, because I want to know this. How do you combine your music with giving back?
Well, one thing that I didn't really expect, and it's been really the most humble thing in the world to do, is to actually use my talent to help folks around the country and in different communities. And I never thought that, my music would be able to raise money for myself to pay the rent, let alone raise money for folks and amazing causes and animals and that sort of thing. So it was really a shock of a lifetime. And we're actually going to be coming out to South Carolina.
That's right.
On May the 6th, we're going to be playing James Island County Park for my great friends Pet Helpers. Get your tickets. Yes. They're going to be there. I'm going to be doing my Intimate Evening with Trey Taylor show. And I'm going to be telling all my stories, and I've got a beautiful stage costume picked out to wear it. It's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yes, absolutely. And let me just jump right into it. Let me jump into the obvious. I know you're getting ready for the upcoming fundraising concert for Pet Helpers. Why Trey Taylor? Why Pet Helpers?
Well, when the pandemic started back last March, I was thinking about how many organizations were just cut off at the knees in terms of fundraising, because most of their major events fall in the summertime. And now that this thing has lasted more than a year and was really something nobody knew about or prepared for, or, months in advance, and could make precautionary things and do all of our events before it hit or something like that, I realized that a lot of organizations would just need a little bit of nudging, a little bit of support. So if the fit were correct, then I wanted to come in and find organizations that I could really be a blessing to and that we could bring this show to. And when I saw Pet Helpers and just saw what a family they are, what beautiful people they are, what beautiful animals they have, and the how plugged in they are to the community, I said, whatever it takes to do this show, I want to do it, because I just absolutely love them. And my heart belongs to the local organization. It really does.
Absolutely. And I know you've been performing the Intimate Evening series for nonprofits around the nation during the pandemic, as you mentioned. Can you tell me more about the good work that you've done around the nation?
Yeah. Well, when we got started, I wanted to find causes that meant a lot to me. And I wanted to find something that I could personally relate to, just to get the donors to be extra generous. I thought if they saw a connection between me and the cause, and just not a performer there, but somebody who really cares, and really experienced a lot of these things that I was coming in to help with, that we would have great success with that. So we actually did a ton of scholarships. We did a ton of not a ton, but a handful of animal organizations. We played everywhere from California to Detroit to Philly last year, helping out. So we were just excited. We didn't think we were going to be able to do it again this year, but I thought, you know what, it would be a great introductory event and kind of a great hybrid between moving from virtual to in person. Because of the small capacities we have for this show. So the logistics, it just worked out.
Yes, indeed. And let me turn to your future. How would you describe your future in a title of a song?
Oh, would you catch a falling star? No, I don't know. My future, we've got so many big plans this year. Of course, hoping to get back into regular touring with the band and everything like that. But also, I've been getting nudged on social media for the past year that people are ready for the next album. So I've got the songs for the record. We got the producer. We've already started trying some things. So I'm ready to put that out and excited to get that going. And I'm going to be in vinyl this year, and I never thought that. So exciting. But we're actually planning on also doing a Christmas album very soon. Also doing a faith-based album, and then keeping up with the contemporary country music that I do. So I'm not going to be sitting around anytime soon.
And what is the state of contemporary music as you know it?
Well, I think that there's a identity crisis in country music. I think that country music in a lot of ways here recently has become very thematic and very kind of repetitive. And just a lot of it sounds. So I think what's going and people, but a lot of people, there's more people listening to country music now than there've ever been. So it's a very commercial music, but where I see music shifting, and I'm getting so excited seeing so many of these great artists coming up in country music that really are just them and the guitar and writing the most beautiful songs and really studying the work of Merle Haggard and Chris Christopherson and Dolly Parton, you know. And, you know, I think that we're going to be shifting back into country music as it was created, the country music that Charlie Pride sang, the country music that just warms my heart. So, you know, I think the current state of music is the kind of the current state of everything, just kind of in a gray cloud. We can see the light of a clear blue morning, can't we?
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Well, Trey Taylor, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome to the award-winning Quintin Close-Ups, and hope to see you here in Charleston soon.
Hey, I'm excited.